A Halloween like any other. I was out on Halloween, as I always am, doing what I always do. I was hunting vampires. I'd waited until just after it grew dark. The last rays of life-affirming sunshine had finally faded away, and I'd be headed out. No point in leaving before that, while they were still at home, sleeping their unholy sleep of the undead. Those accursed creatures, how they'd pay! I wandered the streets, searching and searching, knowing they were out there, knowing only I could find them, knowing only I could destroy them. I paused under a street light, checked my weapons, rechecked my gear. I was ready. I'm always ready. I smiled. Vampires get cocky around Halloween. They let their guard down. They think they can just blend in with us. We won't notice them. They won't be spotted. But they're wrong. They try to slip into the crowds, to hide among the trick-or-treaters, the costumed candy seekers, to hide if they still stand out. I can spot them. I was 2 hours into my patrol when I finally found one. He was nestled among a group of loud and obnoxious partiers, trying in vain to camouflage himself. But I saw through his disguise almost immediately. I approached the group from behind, careful not to make my presence known, and I followed and studied them until I was positive. They continued on their way down the block, oblivious to me, laughing and flinging empty beer cans, all the while unaware that a demon was among them. I got sufficiently close and made my move. "Freeze, hellspawn!" I shouted. They all stopped then and turned, obviously wondering how to proceed. There was a pause as they tried to size me up. I wondered whether they could sense my righteous aura, if they'd already fallen under the vampire's hypnotic influence. Either way, their lives would never be the same. "Sorry," said a chubby man dressed as a clown. "We don't have any change for you." "I'm no beggar," I said. "I'm out destroying evil. Donations welcome." "Beat it," said the clown's transvestite friend. "You're creeping us out." They obviously had no idea that I was their only salvation. They were completely blind to the fact that I, and only I, could save their worthless necks. All save one. The demon, of course. He knew who I was. I could read it in his cold, cold eyes. I could also see fear settling in. I knew he'd be begging soon. I could hear it already, like music in my ears. The centuries-old game of hunter versus depraved satanic vermin would soon be played out. "Don't you realize that's no man? That's a vampire, straight from the 7th level of hell." "Yeah, and I'm Batman," the one in grey leotards replied, what I felt was a rather Renfieldish sort of way. "No, they were such blind fools. I mean, he's really a vampire, a real vampire. He'll drain you fools like a cheap bottle of wine." The cretins began to laugh then. Laugh like the hand puppets of Lucifer they had become. It was sad, really, seeing them all bewitched so easily. I locked eyes with the beast, and he laughed too, thinking all too smugly that he was safe now. I knew it was time to act. I reached into my coat for the vial in my pocket, brought it out, and removed the cork. "This should make believers out of you," I said, holding my hand high. "It's holy water, the one true test for a vampire." I wound back my arm and let loose with the vial, flinging it in his direction. Bull's eye! It shattered against him, dousing his chest and sending droplets along his arms and across his face. He laughed harder then, and the others joined him. They chuckled and slapped their knees. They kept doing it, until, that is, the smoke started to rise. The vampire's skin steamed and blistered and burned, and he let out a howl like the savage beast he was. Panic ensued as the others broke out of the spell the vampire had woven. The group began running about in circles, arms flailing and heads shaking, all in disbelief of what they were seeing. These people who only seconds before had considered this fiend to be a friend were now seeing him as he truly was. It was an awakening. "Good God!" screamed the clown. It's true! He really is a vampire!" That's when it was my turn to laugh. Telling them it was holy water always made them let their guard down. Every good vampire hunter knows that religious crap doesn't work for shit. For a proper reaction, you have to resort to a good undiluted dose of hydrochloric acid. Understandably, none of them knew how to proceed. Luckily, I was there. They might have been falling into a state of shock, but I knew how to proceed. I knew how to end it. I pulled the sharpened length of wood from my coat and tossed it to the clown. "Stake him through the heart." He held the stake loosely in his hands, staring down at it, a look of horror on his face. "Now," I yelled, "it's our only chance." The clown raised his weapon, determination coming over his features, and he plunged forward. The stake met its mark. A jet of preternatural blood spurted out of the creature's chest. Chalk one up for the good guys. My work done, I headed down the block before they started to lavish me with gratitude and praise. As an afterthought, I yelled back, "Remember to cut off the head and stuff it with garlic, then burn it and the body separately." I turned the corner, leaving them to deal with the cleanup and the local authorities. I figured they owed me that much after all I'd done for them. Besides, the night was still young. There were plenty of other unholy creatures to dispatch and plenty of candy around for the taking.